In this series of videos, what I will be doing is looking at every single episode of House of Anubis and every single episode of Het Huis Anubis and comparing them in the sum sections. I will of course also voice my own opinion on the changes made by the House of Anubis team. There is also a third version of the series, which is the German one, but I'm personally not as interested in looking into it, at least just yet. I am more interested in comparing the original version to the version that I grew up with. I do also feel the need to mention that I am not Dutch, I do not know Dutch, I'm not really interested in knowing Dutch, so I'll be relying on the translation of a person who does know Dutch. For those who are still incredibly lost, House of Anubis is an American-British adaptation of a Dutch series called Het Huis Anubis, which aired on Nickelodeon. It is a teen drama, soap opera, and mystery series. The original show has been translated into multiple languages. It has 2 different adaptations that were also translated into multiple different languages, but it also spawned quite a few books and movies and spin-offs, not all of which were translated officially. I think it's fair to say that the series was quite popular. Before we start, I want to point out that the number of episodes Het Huis Anubis has is very different from the number of episodes House of Anubis has, so this isn't going to be an entirely one-to-one comparison. I'll try my best to mix and match things based on events that take place throughout the series. I will not get too deep into the plot for the reasons of copyright, but also because I want to encourage you to actually watch these shows yourself. You will also see my soul die. The episode starts with the newcomer Nina Martin being picked up to go to the House of Anubis, which she'll be living in while attending the local boarding school. We are briefly introduced to Nina's classmates, Joy, girl that's into pop stuff, who is best friends with Patricia, an alternative xenophobic girl, and has a crush on Fabian, a nerd, Alfie, a jester, who is best friends with Jerome, a snake, and has a crush on Amber, a dumb rich blonde, who is dating Mick, resident sportman. We get some rules of the house from Victor, a strict man with a bird obsession, and are introduced to Trudy, the house mother of the place, whatever that means. We also witness the disappearance of Jerry Mercer, and see the first conflict between Patricia and Nina, where the former kicks the latter from their room. In this episode, we are introduced to Nienke Martens, as she says goodbye to her grandma and enters the grounds of the House of Anubis for the first time. She is immediately introduced to and confronted by Victor Emmanuel Rodenmar, one of the caretakers of the house. He explains the rules of the place, which is shortly interrupted by Trudy, the second caretaker. More importantly, we are introduced to Corvus. In the meantime, some of the students, Mara, Mick, and later Patricia, are retaking a test. Patricia claims her best friend, Joyce, was supposed to attend the exam as well. The teacher continues anyway. Victor introduces Nienke to her room, which she will be sharing with Amber, who enters the house shortly after. She opens a gift from Api, which blows up in her face. Shell-shocked and angry, her first interaction with Nienke is throwing her out of the room, not yet aware of Joyce's absence. Aside from the obvious differences in cast, location, way of filming, acting abilities, languages, etc., in no particular order, there are some name changes. Most of the cast had only their last name changed except for Nienke, who turned into Nina, Api, who turned into Alfie, Joyce, who turned into Joy, and Jerome, who turned into Jerome. Nienke Martens is from probably not a different country from the Netherlands, while Nina Martin is from the US, making her a foreigner. Both of the main characters have a grandmother, both important to the main character, but not in the sense of plot, as Nina's grandmother is never even on screen. Joyce was gone before Nyanke arrived, while Joy was gone on the first day Nina arrived. Nyanke was supposed to live with Amber and Amber kicked her out, but Nina was supposed to live with Patricia and Patricia kicked her out. Het Huis Anubis has fewer scenes of characters interacting with each other outside of the classroom. 3 members of the main cast of Het Huis Anubis are having an exam retake, while in House of Anubis they are having a practice exam with the entire class. Amber is not pranked by Alfie, but Amber is pranked by Appy. There are some differences in the rules of the house. Het Huis Anubis Victor voices extra rules such as no TV during the week, internet access for 30 minutes a day. There are also slight changes to 2 rules such as no going walking halls past 9 p.m. is changed from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. while lights off by 10 p.m. is lights off by 11 p.m. in Het Huis Anubis. Along with that, Victor in Het Huis Anubis shows the chore and rules list, which Victor in House of Anubis doesn't do. Victor never explains who he is in the House of Anubis, but he does in Het Huis Anubis. Jerome, Fabian and Joy were introduced in House of Anubis, but not in Het Huis Anubis just yet, though we saw Fabian in a photo. Joy left multiple things behind due to her rushed exit. Joyce, on the other hand, had nothing but an obvious sticker on her wardrobe, and maybe some pictures. I can't tell Joyce and Amber apart. I think the biggest difference for me is the way Nina / Nyanke and Patricia are depicted. Nina is excited to be at the school, seemingly breathtaking by the sight of the House of Anubis, and trying hard to push the stereotypical US cheeriness, while Nyanke is worried about not fitting in, about her grandmother. She's trying to adjust to the intimidating changes that come from living in a pretty creepy house. She's almost always on the edge and you can feel it. You just don't feel such emotion coming from Nina. Nina might be a little nervous, but she's a lot more confident and positive, ignoring the signs things might not be good for her here. So when Judy is introduced, she is not a beam of sunshine to relax Nina in her stressful situation, but someone to keep up the cheerfulness and put the serious stuff aside. When it comes to Patricia, she seems like a completely different person. Patricia in Het Huis Anubis is less edgy and more open to things. Even in her introduction, we see that she's willing to hug a teacher to make him uncomfortable, or just for the fun of it. Something that Patricia from House of Anubis would never do. On the other hand, we see Patricia put Joy in a situation where she falls on another student, something that doesn't feel in tune with Patricia in Het Huis Anubis. When it comes to the story, Patricia in House of Anubis is the one to see and kick Nina out, making her the only person in the show to have something against Nina. That paints Patricia as an antagonist of sorts. And what I like about the Het Huis Anubis episode is that Amber is the one to kick Nyanke out. It gets into the fears of Nyanke, of not fitting in, as we, the audience, know that there are already at least 2 people in this house who are out to get her for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Another thing is that in Het Huis Anubis we get more meaningful interactions between Mick and Mara, while in House of Anubis we only get a few cuts to suggest a parallel. I'm all for showing and not telling, but putting Mick and Mara into a situation of a pleasant chit-chat with Mara's hard eyes just meant more to the story. It felt more real. Another thing I want to mention is introductions. Introductions matter. House of Anubis was decent with them, if not a little too on the nose, and relied mostly on dialogue. With Het Huis Anubis it was more about the situation, the visuals. It's hard to tell what series did it better, as one felt more effective while the other felt less forced down our throats.